And live.
I love you more.
We're live.
Hi, I'm Bill, the knee pain guru, and I am the best in the world at eliminating chronic knee pain. Welcome to the Knees for Life Google Hangout. This is one of the benefits of being a member of the Knees for Life Inner Circle. We have these hangouts every 2 weeks, and we go over questions and give you answers and solutions for eliminating your chronic knee pain. Now, if you're watching this broadcast right now, it is absolutely free. It's complimentary to anyone who is suffering with knee pain. But the members of the Knees for Life Inner Circle
Hey, Bill, close out the screen.
What screen? What do we got?
You have it on your live page, so go ahead and close that out.
Close what out?
You have it playing in the background on another tab, so you're probably looking at the Watch Live page.
No.
No. Okay. All right.
Again, maybe it could be Neil.
Nope. You're okay. Go for it.
Am I good now?
Good. Yep. You're good now.
So you totally messed up my flow. Okay, we're good. Now, so members of the Knees for Life Inner Circle get to ask me questions and interact with me in the Google Hangout. Or you could just watch it for free. But what I do is in the Hangouts here, I reference specific modules in my virtual clinic. And that is the workshop that I use when I work with clients one-on-one to give them solutions for what they can do today, right now, to begin creating comfort in their knees. So that is the essence of what is how the setup is. And we also have members get access to my to the private Facebook page, the Knees for Life Facebook page. They get access to the Google Hangouts, and they also get my virtual clinic. So that's the gist of what we're doing today. Today's topic, what we're going to get into today, is the right question to ask for complete knee pain elimination. So if you have questions, you can start typing those questions now for me to answer when I'm done covering this topic. So this is one of the biggest pitfalls I see with people suffering with chronic knee pain. They don't ask the right questions. They don't ask the right questions of doctors. They don't ask right questions of physical therapists. They don't ask the right questions of themselves. And that's what's really important, is when we start with the right questions, we can get the right answers. And many times, the question comes in the form of, well, how do I get rid of the knee pain? What is going on in my knee? And how do I get rid of the pain? And in actuality, if we zoom out, we get a broader perspective of what's going on with the knee. We understand that the question needs to be different. And the real question we need to ask ourselves when we're suffering with knee pain is, what do we want? What do we really want on the other side of getting rid of the knee pain? Because the mind has this really interesting function. It's kind of, you think of it like a garden. If you take a garden and you pull out all the weeds, but you don't plant anything in its place, you don't put down any tomatoes or squash or peppers or anything else, what ends up happening is, if we just leave that ground bare, what's going to grow up? Well, the weeds. The weeds are going to grow up. And this is the same thing when we get rid of knee pain. If we want to get rid of knee pain, we want to make sure we have something in its place. We want to set up the conditions so we not only remove the pain in the knees, but we're also going to have strong, healthy joints that last the rest of your life. And that's really what my program is about. That I see so many people selling themselves short, allowing themselves to I hear comments that come out of their mouth that's like, well, the pain isn't that bad today. Well, it's been worse. I can deal with it. I can handle it. And they get into this mentality where we have these beliefs that create these realities as a result of the amount of pain that's being experienced. But once again, if we zoom out, we get that 30,000-foot view. We look at knee pain as just being this little hurdle that we get over to have this broader experience and better quality of life that we can all have. So when you ask the question, when the question is asked, well, what do you want? What is it that you really want? If you didn't have to think about your knees, what do you really want? Do you want to run a marathon? Do you want to exercise again? Do you want to play with your children on the ground? Do you want to be able to walk up and down stairs, not having to think about your knees? All of those are worthy goals. All of those are worthy visions to shoot for. But we have to realize, it's so important to realize that there's a much broader perspective that we can bring into the mentality in alleviating the knee pain. So I'd like you to take a moment right now and think about if you didn't have any fears, doubts, or concerns about your knees anymore. All bets were off. You could have any wish you wanted. What would you want your life to look like? What do you really want? And when we start with that realization, when we have that vision in mind, now we have something that's going to carry us through the difficult times, the inevitable times when the knee gets into pain and we want to get it out of pain. So we have to have a big enough goal, a lofty goal that's worthy of our time, energy, and effort. Because if we just want to get out of pain, it's not that big a deal. Not that much. Because there'll be plenty of things that are going to get in our way, that are going to present themselves, that are going to be hurdles, that are going to prevent us from being motivated and have the desire to push ourselves, both mentally and physically, when we need to. So I just want to take a moment there and just jot that down on a piece of paper. What is it? What do you really want on the other side of being out of pain? How we doing on time there, Neil? You're muted.
You're doing great. Keep on flowing.
Okay, cool. Okay, next piece we're going to look on is what questions are we asking ourselves? What are the beliefs that we have about knee pain? Were we told by Uncle Louie at the family picnic that that's just how the knees, that's just what happens when you get older? Is it your family? Is it your friends that have told you that this is just what happens? This is as good as it gets. You can't expect anything else. The body, as you get older in life, it just tends to break down. Have you been told by your doctor or your physical therapist, well, we really don't know what's wrong with your knees. This is just what you're going to have to deal with? Are there situations, that little voices in your head that create this doubt, create this little, like, I refer to them as like brain maggots. They just kind of sit in your brain and they just kind of eat away at like your joy. Because when we have those in our way, we can't get to that goal. We can't get to that vision. And that is, when I work with clients one-on-one, that is the first thing we do. We address the fears, the doubts, and the concerns. Your head's got to be in the game before you can play. And if it's not, well, then there's no sense even stepping on the field because you know you're going to lose. That's not how my program works. You got to get your head in the game. You got to take the approach that you're a professional. You're going to eliminate your knee pain like a professional would. It's a way different mindset than kind of taking it casually and just being like, oh, well, we'll see if this works, and I'm kind of half-assing it, and that doesn't work. Because what ends up happening is you get more of the same. The minute that the pain comes back, and it does, getting out of knee pain is not a linear process. The minute you get back into pain, what ends up happening is you bounce right back. You're right back at square one again. Like, oh, this doesn't work, it's not helping, and you go to this weak place. And that's what we have to be honest with ourselves on. You got to get clear. Do you really want to be out of pain? Do you really want to be able to, I don't know, you name it, ride a bicycle across the country? That was something I did back in 2001. It was a very cool experience. But I had to make that commitment. I had to be real clear about what I wanted. So what I really want to emphasize in today's lesson, in today's piece, what I want to share is that we got to get the headspace clear. We got to get our mind in the game and set up the conditions so the body can heal. Because your body just wants to do it. That's all it knows how to do is heal. It knows how to digest food. It knows how to process oxygen. It knows how to pump blood throughout your body when you sleep. All of those functions take place. You don't even have to think about it. And your body also wants to heal itself. It defaults to healing. And if it's not healing, there's something that's getting in the way, preventing it from doing so. All we need to do, this is all we need to do, is remove those blocks. And your body will move to a place of healing. And if our head's not in the game, that just doesn't happen. So with that being said, we're going to wrap up the lesson for today. Are we getting questions? I think I saw some questions coming in. Yes, no, Neil?
Yeah, we got a lot of great questions.
Cool. Awesome. Do you want to... Oh, for those that are watching, if you're like, well, hey, who is this guy, Bill, the knee pain guru, you aren't sure, go down below this video and there should be a link to get a copy of my book, Knees for Life. That is a 30,000-foot view of my approach. It's a great way to get started, low risk, low cost way of understanding my approach, my mentality, how I look at knee pain, because it's very different. This is not your standard medical drug shots or surgery. This is nothing to do with that. This is a holistic approach that looks at natural ways to eliminating knee pain and setting up the conditions so your body can heal itself. So I highly suggest get a copy of the book at baseline. That would be a fundamental thing. And then, of course, encourage you to sign up for the Knees for Life Inner Circle. So what we're going to do now is I'm going to start answering questions. Well, the cool part about these questions is the members are going to get referenced to specific modules in my virtual clinic that they will be able to utilize, watch right now, and begin alleviating the pain in their knees. So, Neil, you want to go ahead and read me those questions? Or just
Absolutely.
one at a time?
I'll just do one.
Okay, cool.
How about this is from Pablo? He says, I visited the doctor.
Okay, I'm not hearing you so well.
Okay, how about now?
Yeah, that's better.
This is from Pablo, and he says,
Okay, you went away again.
Pablo, you clear? Are we clear?
Yeah, I got it.
Okay. Pablo says, I visited the doctor and I was told I had sprained my knee. It was from getting tackled while playing soccer. They told me I had to stop for at least 2 weeks, and it had already been 7. He did the whole icing, stretching, resting. But there's still some
Whenever you
unordinary.
lean forward, Neil, I can't hear you. So you're gonna have to read sitting back.
Okay. Basically, he's stretching, resting, icing, doing everything, and the knee pain is still reoccurring.
Right.
So he's looking for some strategy for that.
Got it. Well, you got to get the pressure off of the nerves. Like when the person is tackled, the body goes and it tenses up to protect itself. It's a natural process of the body feeling threatened. So what ends up happening is it creates a tension pattern that gets stuck in the body. Very much like when the body goes into shock when you get into a car accident. So what happens is his body is holding on to a tension pattern to protect itself from getting injured further. Great when he first got injured, but now what's happening is his body's trying to heal, and it's being prevented by that tension pattern from healing. So my suggestion is, and this is we went over in some of the earlier hangouts, is we got to get better questions. Like, how does it hurt? Does it hurt when he pushes off on his leg? Does he hurt when he steps? Does it hurt when he twists to the left or to the right? Is it his right leg or is it his left leg? These are going to give me an indication of how the pattern is holding in the knee, how the nerves are being interfered with, and what modules I could point him to in the virtual clinic that will alleviate the pain.
Great.
Yeah.
Here's another one. This is a pretty good one. I had my left knee replaced 2 years ago, and it's stiff and still bothers me with pain. Doctor said it's a lot of scar tissue, and he wants to add more bindings.
I can't hear you, Neil.
The doctor said there's a lot of scar tissue, and he wants to continue putting bindings into it.
Bindings?
Mm-hmm.
Wow, I'm not sure what bindings are, but it doesn't sound good. Knee replacement surgery. That is something, once someone's had a knee replacement, my program is going to be somewhat limited as far as what I'm able to help them with. I have a gift of being able to understand how tension patterns are being held in the knee as well as in the rest of the body, and can point someone towards the specific videos that would help them. Once they have their bones cut off, a screw put down the length of their bones and replaced with plastic and metal, I don't know what that feels like. So it's a very different animal. Now that is, Neil, what we were talking about, the PEMF machine, that's something that is I'm looking into to get set up that would help with the once they've had a knee replacement surgery, being able to promote the cleaning out of the cells as well as the promotion of stem cells in that area and allowing to alleviate the pain and inflammation and all the discomfort. So that's a different thing. If that person wants more information, have them send an email to customerservice@thekneepainguru.com and make sure we'll get them on our list once we get that all dialed in.
Bill, that sounds great. Would you like to talk just briefly a little bit more about that therapy?
Oh, yeah, good idea. PEMF, it stands for Pulse Electromagnetic Field, and it's a machine. A friend of mine, Dr. Frank Charles out of Greenville, South Carolina, has a machine down there. I went down and tried it out this past Friday on my way to Atlanta, and it was pretty cool. What happens is the machine has a series of coils in a chair. You sit in the chair, and the coils emit a DC current. And DC currents can be very healing to the body if given in the right amounts. And there's a frequency and the current. And when you dial that in, what happens is it stimulates the cells in the area, and in this case it's in the entire body, that promotes the body's production of stem cells, and it also promotes the cells to begin to clean themselves out. So you have a lot of the toxic buildup as a result of the tension, because the body is protecting itself because of pain, because of injury. And as a result, what happens is this machine begins to clean that out and engages the body's self-corrective mechanisms. So it's something that I'm looking into bringing into the Asheville, North Carolina area.
That sounds great, Bill. Could you talk about how that could be integrated into your coaching program?
Well, in what was happening is there's some situations that get really, really intense, like people with bone-on-bone, people with knee replacement surgeries, people that have had surgeries that have extensive scar tissue buildup, that my program does work, but we kind of, sometimes we hit plateaus, or sometimes it's glass ceilings in terms of the speed at which the body is able to break down the scar tissue from the surgery, from the injury, and it's a longer process than the 3 months that I had initially thought of when I was working with clients one-on-one. And I was like, wow. When I saw this machine at Frank King's King Bio, he's a local homeopathic manufacturing company in the Asheville area, and he had a health fair a few months ago. And I saw this PEMF machine, and I was really blown away by how it was helping stuff in my lower back, just general achiness that I may have, and how much better I felt. So I thought that would really be a good addition to working with clients in the Asheville area, and setting up an office where they could come and get on the machine several times per week to help speed up the healing of the inflammation, breaking down of the scar tissue, alleviation of the pain.
That's great. We actually have a question from Paul. Says, after doing your strengthening exercises, why does most of your knee pain decrease? Is this a good thing, measuring that you are doing the exercises successfully?
It depends on the goal. Like what does he want? Remember the question at the beginning? What do you want? And it's really like getting more background on what he's doing, why he's doing the exercises is going to be helpful in answering the question. Obviously, from my perspective, if my knees hurt and I do the exercises and my knee pain alleviates, that's great. That's a good thing. So I would consider that a success. However, is that just short term, or what are we looking at bigger picture? Are the knees aching all the time? Like, are the knees aching if he doesn't exercise? Then maybe the exercise isn't the shortest distance between him, where he's at, and where he would like to be as far as with his knees. So in that case, I'd point him towards the passive stretching in terms of getting the pressure off of the nerves in the knees that are causing the irritation or the achiness to begin with.
Great. We have a question from John, a little bit more specific for you. That would help. I have had a meniscus surgery, my lateral meniscus. Since using the passive stretches, it feels better, but also pops and grinds all the time to the point where it seems it causes inflammation and pain. Does it sound like my meniscus is still in bad shape?
No. Actually, what it sounds like is when the you have a meniscus surgery, and the body's kind of like, you can think of like the meniscus or the knee joint, the bone in the upper leg, bone in the lower leg, and the knee binds down. And that's part of what happened with the tear. That's how the knee tore, or the meniscus tore, because of the tension that was held in the joint. Now he has a surgery. It corrects the tear, but the pattern is still there in the knee. So the bones are still binding down. what happens is when he does the passive stretches, it begins to relax the tension in the knee joint and create space. So the popping and grinding he's feeling is actually the correct amount of space the joint could have had that would have possibly prevented the meniscus tear. So the popping and grinding that he's feeling is the popping and grinding that I feel in my knee. As long as we're not in pain, we're okay. That's the gauge. That's like the dashboard on our car is the pain. If you're not in pain, then live your life. That's the piece. So what I would do once we get out of the pain, then I would be looking at the strengthening exercises, the mobility and the strengthening exercises to build up the tendon, the ligament, and the fascial strength around the knee joint to hold the knee joint in that new good place. So, no, it's not bad, and there's more work to do.
That's great. So going back to surgery, once you have had knee replacement surgery on one side, but the other knee is now overcompensating, what types of protocols and what questions can people bring to start working on that other knee to avoid that knee surgery?
Well, it's the same. It's the same as somebody with two good knees. The same approach is going to be get the pressure off of the nerves. Well, get the mindset right. Then set up the conditions of water, nutrition, and breathing. So we reduce the tension in the nervous system and set up the conditions so the body can heal. And then we want to create comfort. Get the pressure off of the nerves. And what will happen is the knee will feel more comfortable and will begin to become aware of the tension in the hips and the lower back that is compensating for the knee that had the knee replacement surgery. So the knee replacement is going to be like the workaround that we can't avoid, that we can't do anything about. It's like a rock in the road that we can't move. We're going to have to drive around it no matter what. However, that's where I felt the value in the PEMF machine is that we can address some of those symptoms that are presenting themselves for the knee replacement, and then we could still work with those other patterns like my program would normally with someone with the two knees that either haven't had surgery or the surgery is not a knee replacement.
Which of your programs would you recommend for someone in that situation?
Well, depending on where they're at. I like for someone that has already had a knee replacement, I would look into my program, the Say No to Knee Replacement. That would be an ideal one. We could put a link to that in the description, the video description below of the, on the YouTube thing. And I also work with clients one-on-one. That's something that can be set up as well.
Can you talk a little bit more about that one-on-one coaching that you offer?
Yeah, the one-on-one coaching is where I work with clients over Skype, and I use the virtual clinic. That is my workshop. I have 6 years worth of videos that I've put up in working with clients that have different situations and different scenarios, and created videos specifically for if the knee hurts in front of the knee below the kneecap, in front of the knee above the kneecap, inside of the knee at the knee joint, inside of the knee above the knee joint. So I have specific videos for the specific areas of the knee that are hurting, and that's how I work with clients. We set up the strategy. We first work on mindset, get the head in the game so you can play. Then we look at water, nutrition, breathing, make sure that's running in the background so the body has the ability to heal itself. And then we move on to creating the comfort. And they have full access to me where we work once a week with the Skype calls, and then they have access to me via cell phone, email, text, where something happens, they go try it. For instance, I was working with Helen yesterday. She's one of my one-on-one clients. I gave her some exercises to do. She's going to try those on a specific situation, and she's going to send me a text probably later tonight or tomorrow to let me know how that goes, and then we either continue on that same path or we change directions based on the feedback that she gives me. But I take all the guesswork out of it.
So when these directions change with the healing, you're able to point them towards different modules and different parts of your program?
Yes, that's exactly it. I mean, there's a couple hundred videos in the virtual clinic, which is great. You know, it's like, oh boy, there's a bunch of videos in there, but if you're in pain and you want to get out of pain, you don't want to have to sort through and sift through several hundred videos to figure which one is the best for you. So I do that with one-on-one coaching clients, and I've also set up the Knees for Life Inner Circle to help distill that down so other people can see how I work with knee pain questions and how I'm directing people who are in knee pain to answers and solutions in the virtual clinic.
That's great. We have another question come in.
Cool.
And it's from Tatiana. And
Oh.
She asks, I have not been running since 2011. Could that one run try be the breakthrough in terms of like healing, or could it be harmful for her?
A lot of it goes to how she feels about it. I've worked with Tatiana one-on-one, and what I would do is we think of either we're running or we're not running, and there is incremental build-ups to the run. Meaning, I would start with breathing. There's one of the exercises I have in the breathing room in the virtual clinic is about patterning the breathing with the stepping. And when we pattern the breathing with the stepping, we begin to have the run be a moving meditation. It's a breath exercise, not really a run. And we can relax the tension in the nervous system, because a lot of the times when we go running, we have this apprehension and this anxiety about that it's going to hurt when we run, and we tense our breath, we hold our breath, and we tense up more, which manifests in the pain. So if we focus on the breathing, and the running's just a byproduct of that breathing and movement.
In a situation like hers, is there a lot of time before that happens in the one-on-one coaching, or do you feel it out as per how much pain and how much work there is?
I mean, it's going to be different for everybody, but I really get a sense of we got to create comfort first and foremost. If you're not comfortable, you can't push the body. A body that's in pain cannot be pushed out of pain through exercise. And that's one of the biggest misconceptions out there with physical therapy, is they think that if a person, like in acute pain, well, you got to push through it or you got to rest it, that's a big gap between sitting on your ass and not doing anything and running and causing pain. So we gotta slowly amp it up to get to a place where it dissipates the fear and tension in the nervous system, gets the body more comfortable and confident in movement in general, and then it can take on whatever type of exercise it wants. Neil, what are we have a lot of chats that are coming in there, or comments. Are you seeing those? I saw 29 of them.
No, that's between Neil and I behind the scenes. So that's just Neil and I chatting behind the scenes. Yeah, don't even pay attention to that, because you'll get distracted by that. So that's just Neil and I chatting.
Okay, I already got distracted by it.
Yeah, exactly. Like, don't pay attention to that chat.
Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
We're diligently working to smooth out this hangout behind the scenes.
Excellent. Okay.
Oh, I have another question. This one's from Mariana. I have a meniscus for
You're
the
going
second
away
time.
again. Can't lean forward when you're asking those.
I have a torn meniscus for the second time. I
Yeah.
had one scope, and it didn't help the pain. My doctor wants to have another scope, but I don't think that it's going to benefit me. How do you deal with or heal a meniscus that's torn?
A meniscus that's torn? Is
Yes.
that a meniscus that's torn? There's a couple approaches. We talked about the PEMF. That's something that's more like a high-tech approach. I think that is, they do have some real great studies that are going that I'm going to get access to about the machine healing bone and cartilage and meniscus because of that stimulation of stem cell production. So that's more like a high-tech approach to it. I think the low-tech approach to it is getting the tension pattern out of the knees, the hips, and the lower back so it doesn't irritate that where it's torn, and then eliminating gut inflammation and in allowing the body eating certain foods. I have a friend, we could put this in the show notes as well, Sean Stevenson's program, Regrow Your Knees, and it's all about Chinese herbs, medicinal mushrooms, and superfoods that maximize the body's allocation of stem cells, minimizes gut inflammation, and allows the opportunity for the regeneration of cartilage or meniscus in the knee joint. And that can help, that has the potential to allow the body to heal what's going on as far as torn meniscus. And let me just make a statement about that. A lot of your doctors will say, well, the meniscus can't heal on its own or the cartilage can't heal on its own. And one of the things that really kind of irks me is that the limited scope at which the conventional medical model looks at the body's ability to heal. If you break a bone and they set that bone, it's in a cast, the body heals it. The cartilage and meniscus are just on the ends of the bones. What makes the middle of the bone so special that it can heal and the ends of the bones not? That doesn't make any sense to me. And I can't get an explanation that really satisfies my curiosity. So that's my take on healing meniscus, that kind of thing, torn meniscus.
Great. So could you talk a minute about the difference between the questions that the client would ask themselves and you versus the questions that they would be asking their doctor?
Well, I think when someone goes in and speaks with their doctor, they're looking at their doctor as being the be-all, end-all to telling them what their potential their body has. So they're limited as far as the questions that they do ask them. And they say, well, you're going to need surgery. You're going to need your knee scoped for a second time. Or you're going to need a knee replacement surgery. Or we're just going to open the knee up and look and see if we could find out what's wrong. And I firmly believe that if you start asking questions like, well, what are the success rates that you've had in working with patients with very similar situation as myself? Can I speak to several of them? What are you guaranteeing me as the results if I have this surgery? I mean, people ask me for refunds all the time. I'd be curious to see if they ask their doctor for a refund. Are you guaranteeing me I'll be out of pain? And if not, are you going to give me a refund? Because I'm going to have to use that money for something else to take care of the pain because what you did didn't work. I think if the person starts asking like real questions, just like if you were to go to a shop for insurance or shop for a realtor or shop for a car, you're going to find someone who's going to make a promise and they got to be able to follow through with it.
Okay, I got another question from Paul. Hi, Bill. I'm having a problem doing hip rotations. Is it okay for me to use my arms to help get around um, as the only way I can do it? And he referenced Module 17 in the ebook videos.
Module 17 in the ebook videos. Well, if he's having that kind of discomfort doing hip rotations, then I think it'd be need to be more. You need to work in the comfort zone, or with the passive stretches more so than focusing on the exercises. If he's having that much discomfort, because the program isn't about pushing through the pain. The program is about how can we create comfort in a comfortable range of motion to increase the anatomical range of motion. So the anatomical range of motion is the full range of motion that the hip can have. But many times the anatomical range of motion doesn't equate to the comfortable range of motion. The comfortable range of motion is much smaller. So if we work in the comfortable range of motion and get his nervous system to let go where it's comfortable, then it expands that comfortable range of motion closer to that of the anatomical range of motion. So that's kind of a no, and there's other aspects to look at.
Okay, cool. One question from James. What do you think of shockwave therapy for eliminating knee pain? And can that be integrated into your program?
I don't know what shockwave therapy is. It reminds me of that stuff that they tried to do to cure people of schizophrenia and stuff like that. I don't know. I have no idea what shockwave therapy is or if that would be beneficial. It sounds painful. If it is painful, then I wouldn't go in that direction, but that's me. But I'd have to see like more research on it or know someone who's tried it or something like that to determine if it would be beneficial.
Hey, Bill, so one of the things that I'm curious about being 45 and, not having knee pain yet, but once in a while I'll get like some kind of funky knee pain. What are some different ways that I can work with you? So I know that you have the area with all of the videos, then the inner circle. So can you elaborate on those? So different ways that people could work with you, because a lot of what you're talking about is preventative, right? So it's for me, being 45, to avoid, in another 10 or 15 years, going to a doctor and having a doctor say you need a knee replacement, right? So you do a lot more of the preventative to help people get out of the knee pain. But for those of people that are listening that don't know you, what are the different ways that I could work with you to be more preventative in pain?
Well, there's like a gradual scale. Like the first thing, just to kind of get an idea of my approach, of course, watch these hangouts. There's also my book, Knees for Life. That would be a real great approach. Get into my ebook, The Comfort Zone, which is a standalone ebook that has videos that go along with it, where, Brandy, that would be ideal for you. Preventative maintenance, a little twinge every once in a while. There's 11 simple stretches in there. It's a real quick read. You have a reference guide to work with your knees while you're sitting there in front of a computer or sitting in a traffic light or sitting in a chair in an office, whatever it is. You have the ability to create comfort in those areas in your knees that are twinging or giving you problems from time to time. The next step up would be the inner circle, and that is you got more stuff going on. You're kind of frustrated. You want to see my program more extensively, what it is. So there you get full access to the virtual clinic. You get these Google Hangouts twice a month where I answer the questions based on your experience in the virtual clinic. And then you also get the community of people in the Knees for Life Inner Circle private Facebook page. That's where people post their pictures. One of my clients, Helen, posted a picture of her paddleboarding when she was on vacation with her family over the summer. She wouldn't have been doing that if we wouldn't have been working together. So we have people have victories, people have challenges. Hey, I tried this, and this worked, and this is what I found out. Here it is with the other people in there. Bounce it off. Has anyone else tried this? What did you find out? So it becomes like a mastermind of people who want to have strong, healthy joints that last the rest of their life. Get their knees out of pain and have strong, healthy joints the rest of their life. So that's the inner circle. I also have my other program, which is called Say No to Knee Replacement. That is a bigger program, home study course, where it has, you basically rate your pain level on a scale from 1 to 10. And based on what pain level you have going on, you work on the modules that correspond with that pain level to reduce the pain and evolve to the next, the other modules. So we go from comfort and setting up the conditions so the body can heal itself, then you get to mobility stuff, stretching, then you get to exercise. And exercise is only when the pain is reduced to virtually nothing. So you have a process with that as well. That is a standalone program. And then I have my one-on-one coaching. That's where I use the virtual clinic, same videos that I people in the inner circle have access to, and I work with them individually where I ask them questions, I get inside their brain as far as what's going on, how the pain hurts in their knee, how it's moving in their body, when it hurts, how it hurts, and then give them 3 or 4 videos that are going to create the most comfort in their knee today.
Absolutely love it. So it looks like the questions have stopped rolling in. I want to go ahead and say that the next hangout for the Inner Circle members, so this is strictly for the Inner Circle members to get their questions answered live by you on air. The next date is going to be September 4th at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. I encourage everybody to start asking questions now in advance so that you get them answered on air. So even if you can't be with us live, we'll be sure that you can go back and watch the replay. That's all in the Inner Circle's members area. If you'd like to learn more about any of Bill's programs, you can go to thekneepainguru.com. That's where you can get the book that he spoke of, become an Inner Circle member, avoid knee surgery, which I would highly recommend, particularly at my age group, because we really don't want to have our knees replaced. And Bill is the guru of making sure to help you to avoid that. Is there anything else, Bill, that you'd like to add?
No, I just like to thank everybody for their questions. This is really my life's mission. I have this vision to be the best in the world at eliminating knee pain, and I'm really excited about it, that there's so much more we can have out of life that it makes me sad inside, because I see it happen in my family where people are like, oh, that's just how it is. I have a story. My father, a few years ago, had this, he called it a trick toe, where his toe, it was starting to cramp. And all it is a tension pattern. It gets stuck in the nervous system. And he said he went to the podiatrist, and the podiatrist was like, the solution was to cut the tendon in his toe. So his toe no longer cramps, but he also can't curl his toe. Now, in a way it sounds kind of funny, but in a way it's really sad, because the medical model doesn't provide a solution for that. And there's a part of me that I think it's unnecessary, and this is my gift to be able to help people in that way, because I understand the body in a very different way, and want to be able to share that. So the more people that hear about what I'm doing, that know about what I'm doing, and that I can help, it means a lot to me. So yeah, I just like to say that to wrap up.
Well, and I think that that's one of the things I love about you the most is your passion for helping people, because I think that you're correct. Like in the medical model is, let's, chop it up, break it up, let's take a pill for it and all that. And so your approach is really, the entire system. And I love that every single time we do one of these hangouts that you talk about our body's ability to heal itself without that. So that's one of my favorite things about you and your passion for helping people with this. So that's awesome.
Thank you, Brandy.
Hey,
Thank you.
my pleasure. All right, so I think that that is it. Again, if you want to learn more about Bill and the Knee Pain Guru and his passion and purpose in life, be sure to go to the kneepainguru.com. And we will see you on September 4th for the next Inner Circle Hangouts. All right, say goodbye, and Neil, you'll want to end broadcast. Smile and say goodbye, Bill, and then Neil end broadcast.